everyone, this is DJ and welcome to another episode of RC Retirement. Today I've got a pretty good topic for you, I believe. This is one that comes directly from you guys. I've been receiving a lot of emails lately asking about how combat-related special compensation works. So I decided that today I will talk about that, and I'm going to show you two ways that it's computed. One is the official Defense Finance and Accounting Service method, and then a simpler version that I use that gets the same result. Just before I do that, I want to give one conciliatory note to everyone out there. Whenever any of you contact me and ask for advice about combat-related special compensation, or CRSC as I'm going to call it for the rest of this video, I typically ask you to go to a section of my website and fill out an online form. This is not trying to mine for all sorts of personal information. As you're going to see from this explanation I'm about to give, the formula for computing combat-related special compensation is quite complex, and if you email me and just say I have this percentage and that percentage, that doesn't really tell me anything. So when I ask you to go to this online form and give me some more information, that's what I need to plug into my retired pay calculator and generate some reliable numbers. So without further ado, let's move into the topic. Alright, so like I said, the first method I'm going to show you is the DFAS method, Defense Finance and Accounting Service, and there are 8 slides to this, and then we'll go into my simpler method. Alright, so step 1, as always with anything DFAS, is they want to know what the average of your last 3 years of base pay were. So for the fictional person that I'm going to describe for the rest of this episode, I'm going to say this is a guy with 8.5 years of service, exactly 8 years 6 months, and he was a pay grade of E5. Oh, there's a typo on this slide actually. For the last period it says E2. That's a typo, that should say E4. But for the last 2 years of his service he was an E5, and for 1 year prior to that he was an E4. So without going into all the math, you can see at the bottom of the slide what his high 3 average was or is. And for those of you listening in audio form, his high 3 average is $2,877.20 per month. But for DFAS purposes, they're not going to take the pennies into account. They'll drop that and use whole dollars only. Alright, next step. There are 2 ways to calculate this. Two ways to calculate retired pay, rather. One is the disability percentage method, which a lot of you out there are familiar with already because you've been medically retired. And then there's the years of service method, or as I'm going to call it, the length of service retirement. If you're eligible for retired pay of either type, or rather if you're eligible for both, you're going to receive the higher of the two. And in order to receive CRSC, you've got to also use these calculations to determine what the CRSC offset is going to be, and that's the next step. I know already I'm probably getting some glazed eyes, but bear with me, this is actually going to go pretty fast. So we've already got his high 3, and we're assuming that this individual has a 50% medical disability on the military side. And you can see some disclaimers on here. I'm not gonna read it all for the podcast audience. I'm gonna post this set of slides with the episode so that you can see it, and I'll fix the E2 typo before I post it. But anyway, his monthly retired pay based on his disability, his medical disabilities on the military side is $1,438 per month. And now, doing another calculation, we have to compute his length of service retirement. So like I said, he has 8 years, 6 months exactly, and we're assuming this is an active duty guy in this case, not dealing with retirement points. That just makes the math easier. So that works out to 21.25%, which is $611 per month. Alright, so now what do we do with these numbers? We take the medical retirement pay amount and subtract the length of service retired pay amount. That's how we come up with what the CRSC offset is. This is actually a critical number for what comes next. Believe it or not, you can be eligible for CRSC and get $0. So this is how that happens, because there's a minimum offset that occurs as you're seeing here, and here's how the math works. Alright, so anyway, when you come up with, in order to come up with the CRSC payment amount, you're going to be told what the CRSC percentage is, and from that you will go to the VA compensation table for your particular status. So in the case of this individual, this fictional soldier, this is a married with spouse, no dependents or no children. So his VA compensation at 50% is $992 per month. And he's been awarded CRSC at the 50% rate. So that's also $992 per month. Now, we take the 992 and that number that we computed earlier, the CRSC offset, and subtract that from the 992. So it's 992 minus 827. I know I'm going fast, but like I said, if you look in the show notes, you'll get to see all this. You'll get to see this presentation. So 992 minus 827 is $165. That is what he will actually receive as a CRSC payment amount, not the full 992. And I know that's going to make a lot of folks angry also, but CRSC was never designed to make up for the full amount of the VA compensation offset. Sometimes it does, but it does not always do that. So here's how it breaks down. With the individual that I described, he's receiving VA compensation of $992. After you compute the offset for CRSC, there's a negative 827, and then you add another 922. That adds up to a total of, I know we're getting into negative addition. That's got to be weird for you podcast guys. But that adds up to a total of $1,016. So it's actually, just for simpler math, it's oh, no, I messed that up too. So that was from a previous rendition of this slide when I was playing around. So what that number should be is 1157, and I will change that before it is posted on the site and on YouTube as well. But so you take, for your total monthly compensation, you're going to have VA compensation, CRSC of 165, and, well, that's it in this case, as there's not a whole lot left due to funky math. Now this is DFAS doing funky math, and I know I've just blown a lot of people away with weird math. I'm now going to show you the incredibly simple way to do this. First I show you the hard way, then I show you the simple way. So here we go, the simple method. We've already computed what retired pay is on the disability side, and we know what 50%. Did I mess that up again? Yes, I did. Anyway, we'll just take these numbers as they are. We won't worry about the percentages now. We'll just take the numbers as they are. Actually, no. When you look at this, the math works out. And I have to apologize for these slides. I put them together in a rush, trying to get this show ready, and I was trying different scenarios to see which one would be the best for everything, and I got myself confused with all the numbers. So on this slide where it says subtract VA compensation, that number should actually be 992, and I will fix that before I post it. So anyway, we go to the next slide. Oh wait, let me talk for the podcast guys. Let me explain it. So we have retired pay of $1438, subtract 992. That leaves a remainder of 446. Remember 446 for about 60 seconds. So now we go to the next slide. The length of service retirement, if we recall from before, was 611. We subtract from that 446, which is what's left over after the VA offset, and that equals 165. Sound familiar? Now you ask a question. Is the amount, after all this math, less than the CRSC award? If so, that's what's going to be paid, because CRSC, after all the offsets, will never be greater, as I said, than the length of service retirement, and it can be zero, even if you are deemed eligible for the benefit. So just keep all that in mind. Alright, so that was real quick. It was a bit shoddy since I did mess up a few numbers, but fortunately I caught it while going through, and the version that I post in the show notes will have these errors resolved. So anyway, I hope this gives some clarification to a lot of the confusion that's going on out there. If not, then of course I'm here, dj@rcretirement.com. You're welcome to shoot another email my way, and I'll do my best to answer it, either with another video or an email directly to you to explain it another way. So that's it for today's episode. I do thank you for being here and for being a part of this audience. I do ask that you, if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel or to this podcast or both. On the YouTube side, be sure to hit the bell so you're notified of new episodes. And Also, I do ask that you spread the word about this channel to other people so that they can benefit from the information put out on this channel. If you're listening on the podcast side, one thing you can do that would help out incredibly would be to write a review of this podcast on iTunes to help people learn about the existence of this channel and this podcast. And again, that gets the information in the right heads. That's the goal, after all. Finally, if you would like to support this channel and my overall internet efforts in education and retiree assistance in a more direct manner, then I invite you to go to patreon.com/rcretirement and join at any of the pre-established monthly rates, or you can create one of your own. Any of that will, of course, help me out in continuing with this effort and making things better as things go along. On a personal nature for you, there's also on rcretirement.com a list of services on the Fees for Services tab, all sorts of things that I can do for you, such as retired pay, CRSC, CRDP, all manner of benefits out there for which you may not know that you're eligible and just need to get the right advice, a little tinkering here and there with numbers to figure out what types of stuff you're eligible to receive, and then I can help you apply for those and get the money going. So that's it for today. I do, as always, thank you and appreciate you for being part of this audience and for spending your time with me. And until next time, I will say thank you for your service. Have a great day.
If you liked what you heard on today's episode, then please go below and give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to this channel. Also, please let other people know about this channel and the information it can provide for them. If you have questions or comments, then please have no qualms about posting them in the comments section below. Please remember the RC Retirement YouTube channel and the RC Retirement website are not recognized or endorsed by the Department of Defense, the Department of Veterans Affairs, or any other government agency. The information presented in these resources are for entertainment and informational purposes only. Also, the content of either of these resources should not be considered financial or legal advice. Please consult with your own legal counsel, accountant, or financial planner before making any decisions based on what you have learned here. As always, thank you for watching the RC Retirement YouTube channel.